What's going on, y'all? Hope all is well. Another episode of Convos with Your CFP. Mario Payne in beautiful Florida without the haircut, man. A 41-year-old gray hair is kicking in. Man, I ain't Tracy Porter, man. Tracy Porter was like 30 in the league, head full of gray hair. Got the waves kind of spinning. Anyways, though, enough about my hair and my lack of haircut. It's happening. Happened last year. We had 2 negative quarters of GDP. It wasn't announced as a recession, but we kind of were in a recession. But now it's official. We have the largest economy in Europe announcing a recession. What is that? Germany. Let's look what is going on. Look at here. Germany falls into recession as consumers in Europe's biggest economy spend less. It's happening. People are spending less. The less money that we spend, then of course, the less GDP doesn't go up. If your gross domestic product doesn't go up, then you fall into a recession. This happened to us. Last year, we had 2 negative quarters, third and fourth quarter of 2022. Now, politically, they didn't want to say it's a recession because, you can't scare people. After the midterms, it's about to be a presidential election, which is crazy. Election season is crazy. But it just goes to show it is happening. And all the craziness of 2022 from a stock market standpoint, we're seeing a reverse. Now, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500 is not where it was before it dropped. But the NASDAQ is at a 52-week high right now. Pretty good. Another 14% to go, but it's getting there. So what does that mean? Well, let's see. Output in Europe's largest economy dropped by 0.3% in the first 3 months this year, following 0.5% contraction at the end of 2020, official data showed on Thursday. That's what a recession is. 2 negative quarters of GDP. Now, that's a signal because we are a global economy. And globally, when you have a signal like Batman signaling up in the air what to do, it says the U.S., it's happening. From a Fed Reserve standpoint, they've been hiking rates, the fastest in 40 years. And they got their last bat signal that, we need to pause. So what's going to happen? Let's see. Well, look below. Fed Reserve likely to skip interest rate hike at the next meeting in June, official signal. Yes, it is happening. After the painful profits, or not so much profits, being held the past year, market being down. It's recovered since October, but last year was a horrible year. It's happening. The Fed has basically signaled we are almost out the woodshed. Not quite. Still a long way to go. Heck, they might raise rates. In a few months. But after the banking fiasco, after inflation going up like crazy, after it's coming down slowly but surely, after companies like Intel laying off 8,000 more people, after the AI boom that's happening with, being able to automate jobs, the Fed's saying, we don't need to raise rates anymore. If we don't raise rates, then what's going to happen to the market? My friends, it's going to be fun times in the market over the next 6 to 12 months. Does that mean we're going to have bumps in the road? But of course, the market just doesn't shoot up. But what it does say is the worst from an inflation standpoint, probably behind us. I mean, inflation was as high as 9.1%. Going down from 9.1% to now 5%, that's a pretty significant drop. So if the worst is behind us, what does that mean for the Fed? Well, here we go. Leading Federal Reserve officials are sending a stronger signal that they will forgo an interest rate increase at the central bank next meeting in June, though they indicated hikes could resume this year. So it's like they're putting that carrot right there in front of us. Maybe not. Maybe not. Skipping a rate hike at a coming meeting would allow Fed policymakers to see more data before making decisions about whether to further increase rates, said Fed Governor Philip Jefferson in a speech on Wednesday. Now, the Philadelphia Fed President Patrick Harker made similar comments on Wednesday. So we know that rates will probably be paused. And if rates are paused, my profiteers, fun times. So what are some investments we can look into? Well, what are things that's not sensitive from an interest rate standpoint? What are some investments that are down? We do know the Russell, for instance, the Russell 2000, the top 2,000 stocks in America, they have been down like crazy since March because of what's going on with banks. Well, if banks now are going to have some relief, if there's no more rate hikes, it might actually be rate cuts where they're cutting rates, meaning me as a bank, I get to borrow money from the federal government and not pay as much interest rate, so now I have a higher profit margin? You think that's going to hurt or is that going to help? Of course that's going to help. So those types of stocks, the regional banks, I don't know about that because they're some trouble by themselves. But banks in general, the larger banks, the JP Morgans, the Bank of Americas of the world, the Wells Fargos of the world, the Morgan Stanleys of the world, those might be stocks that you might want to look at because from a rate sensitive standpoint, those large banks, if rate pauses or if rates get cut throughout the latter part of the year, then that's going to help them. And from an investment standpoint, remember, the stock market is always 12 months forward looking. So they're pricing in what the market's going to do June 2024 right now in June 2023. So, moral of the story, the Fed put that carrot in front of us, probably going to pause rates. And if they do, it's going to be great for the market 6, 12 months from now. A stock today, as long as it's a crazy stock, that's why we want to do index funds or large cap investments, probably going to see some growth. The market's up this year, S&P up by 10%, NASDAQ up a lot more, but that does not mean it's not going to continue to climb. And with rates being paused, banks can lend more, companies can go to the Fed Reserve through the banks and get more and not pay as much interest. We'll probably see some tech stocks growing as well. So, food for thought. Anywho, though, hope that's good information. It's always good information. That's why we like, share, subscribe. Our subscriptions are going up and we appreciate it. Hopefully we hit 1,000 subs. Now I know that's not a lot, but as a CFP practice for 16 years of just doing this to give information, I'll take it. Don't want to get rich, but I do want to give you guys rich information. So hopefully that helps. But as always, let's make some painful profits together, y'all. Come on, Fed. Pause those rates. Peace.
Making no money mistakes, make a payment on your bills and you still late, yeah. Pay for profits to help you seek change, and you just wanna get paid, yeah. Tired of making no money mistakes, make a payment on your bills and you still late, pay for profits to help you seek change, yeah. Cut the show and just listen. You wanna feel empowered by making money decisions. Residual by the hours can get you a better living. Been check to check, you know, and it could be different, you know.